Hey, what's up, everybody? It's your old pal J-Gun coming to you today with a look at the MISC Hull-B, which has just entered the persistent universe with Alpha Patch 4.7.1. It is available for 260 war bond and 280 credit. This ship fills an excellent gap between the two other Hull ships we have in the game right now, the Hull-A and the Hull-C. I'm really excited about this little ship and how easy it is to use and how well it performs its job. But also, look how cool it is from the outside. Let's do a quick turnaround here. You can see those cute little tractors on the back sides, which work really well. Most of its engines are on the back, so there's a lot of good forward thrust. Not too much vertical thrust, but that is okay. How big is it? I like to stand in front of ships and get an idea for the perspective because it's hard to kind of realize it when you're in the game. But that's me in front of the middle gear. And that's kind of it for the exterior. They did a great job. It's simple yet refined, yet it does its single purpose really well. So let's go ahead and get in and take a quick look at the interior. I really like and appreciate the simple entry here. It's one lift, and there's only one floor. The lift is big, and you can put at least 4 people on it quite easily. It seems reliable. It goes up at a good speed. Directly across from the lift, on the port side, you will find suit lockers and a fully functional airlock. And it's a true double-walled airlock, and it has 2 switches, which is really cool. So it's very clear whether you're opening the external door or the internal bulkhead. And while it's not very wide inside, it's wide enough to fit you shoulder to shoulder. And it kind of makes you realize, like, this is probably how, airlocks on, like, the Cutlass Red should have been. I know there's a few ships that kind of have airlocks, but they're not actually airlocks. There's no second wall to seal and deal with the pressure change. Here you can see me standing inside of it, and I do fit. Not a huge deal. Yeah, you could easily actually put 2 or 3 people in there if they liked each other enough. We then have these suit lockers. We see these in ships nowadays. They're to be expected. They're not implemented, though. What is really cool, though, is this little seat. I don't know why I love that, but it's just such a cool idea. Like, SIG is thinking, like, actually, if you had an airlock and people had to change suits, like, you'd probably want a bench for people to sit on. So that's really cool. There's a gun rack. It is just for weapons, and not sure if it's purposeful or not, but your max lift will not attach to it. At the rear, we have the engineering room, and it has an engineering console and all the bays for all the normal things you would expect, all your component access. And that's it. The ship doesn't go any farther back with its interior space. So unlike the Hull-C, where you can walk through the hallway to the rear, and even the rear itself has rooms, you have none of that here. So the buck stops here, and I kind of like that. So you and your co-pilot who are working this ship don't have much to worry about, except this front half of the ship. So we'll take a look at the components here, and then we'll get out of here and move forward. Leaving engineering and moving forward through the ship, on the port side, we have crew habitation. There are 2 bunks, a desk, and a typical Star Citizen bathroom with toilet and mirror. I'm going to speed up that footage a little bit because I don't like their implementation of mirrors. They're not truly reflecting the environment around you, and I think it looks terrible. I actually would prefer a blank wall than what they've attempted to do here with that fake mirror. There are some body washes and shampoos here with creative names. if you dare to grind. But let's get out of here and look at the storage. We have basically 3/4 of an SCU, and that's pretty typical in ships these days. You typically see half to 3/4 of an SCU in internal storage for each person. Across the hall, going starboard, we have crew mess. There's a table you can sit at and a pretend kitchen. As far as I know, there is no cooking gameplay planned, so really, a lot of this stuff is just for role-playing, but I appreciate that they've kept it to a minimum, at least here with the Hull-B. And there's an anchor point for a poster or hangable on the wall, so you can do a little bit of customization inside. Exiting crew mess, we will go forward, and we have a few more cabinets here for components, things like computers, which aren't implemented, radar, which actually is now a physicalized component in 4.7, some fuses, and then on the port side, we have a battery compartment. We see these sometimes on bigger ships, but there's never anything in them, so SIG will do something with that someday, I'm sure. The bridge is nice. It's an improvement over past MISC bridges, honestly, in my opinion. Life support, and then on the on the port side, we have a cabinet now, and this cabinet actually does hold a max lift, which I love. So pilot and co-pilot, they can throw their max lifts in here, and they stick nicely. And actually, I trust it. That's where I keep mine. So enough of the inside. Let's go ahead and load this thing up with some cargo. So I went to Everest Harbor and bought whatever was cheap, just carbon, and I have no plans on selling this at all, but I just needed something to fill it up. So I went ahead and bought 512 SCUs of it in 32 SCU increments. And 4 minutes was just enough time to go ahead and grab a drink, do some shopping, and get some food. And here she is, fully laden, 512 SCU of cargo. The crew at SIG did a great job of orienting the cargo pads so that the cargo doesn't touch the ground when she is fully laden. And that's fantastic. So with this ship, you can carry a lot of cargo, and you're welcome to land planet side or moon side, and you don't have to worry about it hitting the ground at all. Obviously, you don't want to be high-centered, so make sure you do have a nice flat surface. I went ahead and took a look up here in the back cavity just to kind of confirm that, yeah, there's nothing back here. There's no room for the player to exist back here. So everything that the player interacts with, all the interior spaces, are only in the front. And that also means that the 2 tractor turrets on the back are remotely operated. So now that we're fully laden with cargo, let's go ahead and take the ship out and fly around and see how it feels. And let's go ahead and see how it feels to load and unload cargo with both those built-in tractor beams and a max lift. We're going to go ahead and go to Microtech because honestly, I just think it's easier to film there. The light is better, it's neutral colored, and you typically, with the reflections off the ground, you can have the ship lit from all sides. Realize that's kind of silly, but that's how I make my filming decisions in this game. So here we go, off to Microtech, and we will play around with loading and unloading. Here we are landing at Microtech, and she handles very well as long as you're going down. One thing to point out is if you want to use the tractor beams, you need to make sure they are both powered, and that is done via the MFDs and power pips. So if your remote turrets left or right aren't working, make sure that you have both pips allocated here. Another huge improvement with the Hull-B is that SIG has shortened the dash, gotten us closer to the glass, and heightened that window. So we no longer have the feeling of looking through a mailbox slot with this ship. So kudos, SIG, you listened, and for a MISC ship, this has one of the best cockpits and viewports now. All of the turrets on this ship, the gun turret and the 2 tractor turrets, are operated via the co-pilot's seat. So if you are flying solo, you will have to switch seats. And the single button operates all three. So the enter turret button, you'll have to hold F and right click, which is kind of tricky, but you'll have to do that to get all three from the one button. The remote weapons turret has 2 size 3 laser repeaters. And then again, from that same button, you can access the right turret and the left turret. It's mostly good news with these remote turrets. They have great visibility, they can even look backwards, and they can reach all of the cargo pads. So unlike some ships where the turrets are really in unfortunate places, the remote turrets on the Hull-B were planned well, and you can fully load and unload the ship from these rear turrets. The only bad news, especially when it's landed, is that it's not very stable left to right. And what you're about to see is that simply dragging a crate underneath it seems to have really just caused a ton of chaos. And my ship pretends like it weighs nothing, and Star Citizen physics jank kicks in full gear, and we now have an upside down Hull-B. And I kind of resigned myself to the fact that, well, I think my video's over. But you know what? I said, no, J-Gun. Like, let's get creative. Let's fix this. So I wedged a crate under the starboard top side to tilt it down a little bit, and that allowed the port side airlock to touch the ground. And I then went in, and in a display of even more jank Star Citizen physics, that allowed me to re-gravity myself, and I was able to get back in the cockpit seat and right the ship. So, given the ship's instability left to right when on the ground, I highly recommend you load from the bottom up and evenly. Load the bottom left and right, and then load the tops left and right side. So do not start loading the top, because your ship may tip over if there's a minor gust of wind or somebody sneezes. What do I think about the ship? I think it's beautiful. I think it does its job very well. It's the culmination of all of SIG's years of learning with cargo. So this kind of is the best cargo ship we have right now in the verse. 512 SCU is pretty much plenty, even for dedicated haulers. And it's delivered in a package with very well-positioned tractor beams, engineering gameplay, and even a logout bed. So I hope you found this useful. Feel free to ask questions in the comments. And if you liked it, feel free to subscribe. And I hope to see you in the verse.